Welcome to Hope from My City podcast. We are here in H-Town doing our Texas tour. And I want to shout out to Pastor Von Juan for partnering up with us and helping us make all this possible here in H-Town. Couldn't help make sure we check in with our next guest here, man. What an honor and a privilege to be able to have Andre Barnes, a.k.a. 007. If you don't know, he's from the Fifth Ward Boyz. Back in the late 80s, early 90s?
The 90s.
90s,
yeah,
okay.
The 90s, mid-90s.
Yeah. So that was with Rap A Lot.
Yeah, Rap A Lot.
With Jay Prince and them out there. And so, man, go ahead, bro. Tell us all about it.
Oh, man. So I want to start with my life, how I was born.
Yes.
I was born, my mother was Khaleesi, my dad was John Stark, and we are Targaryens. No, I'm just...
Oh, what?
Lord, doing the Dragonstone stuff.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I was born in Fifth Ward, man, Houston, Texas.
The Bloody Nickel?
Yeah, so, it was an impoverished neighborhood, Now it's kind of not like that. It's more gentrified now. You see dudes walking poodles and stuff like that. It's pretty cool though, But Fifth Ward, born in Fifth Ward, was raised by my grandmother. I didn't meet my dad till I was like 22, and we established a good relationship once I met him. But yeah, growing up in the hood was I can't say it was rough because all of us, we thought we all was poor.
Yeah.
So when everybody's poor, it's like you don't know the difference. So it's like everybody's poor, so I don't know that I'm really poor.
Right.
But we grew up with some love, And Fifth Ward was one of those spots where a lot of people lost their lives as I grew up. A lot of people losing their lives now in Fifth Ward, but we're bringing it back to a prominent place now.
Yeah, so for the people that aren't familiar with Fifth Ward and the environment, especially, you growing up there as a young child, kind of take us through that experience. What was it like?
Well, the thing about it, like, I grew up with my grandmother, and my grandmother was, she was older, and so she kind of couldn't keep up with me a little bit because I was out in the streets doing stuff, and she would hear little things like, I heard this, and I heard you was doing this.
How old were you at that time?
About 13, just me getting into a lot of stuff and, seeing guys on, like, my first sign of success was not your Fortune 500 company owner. My first sign of success was the dude on the corner selling crack.
Okay.
That was success to me. So I didn't have many, I didn't recognize. I had some role models.
Yeah.
I had role models that were on television, role models at the school, but I really didn't watch them because I didn't know their lives, but I knew the people's lives on the streets.
Yeah.
So I thought that they had money, they had a bankroll, that I wanted. So I feel like whatever they're doing, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I remember I was 15 years old, and my aunt's boyfriend told me, hey, man, you want to make some money? And he gave me some crack. He gave me a 50-pack. We call it a 50-pack.
Yeah.
And put me in this apartment. And he said, you sell these out. He said, now you put the curtains up. When you got some, ball them up and then put them down. That means you ain't got nothing. The fiends know that, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a guy that was supposed to be watching me, older guy. Now I'm like 15.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be watching me, but he's in the back. But I sold out. I'm got the bankroll and I'm looking at it like, wow, I'm gonna get $100 off of this $500.
Yeah.
And so I'm 14, so $500 in my pocket looked like a lot.
Right.
And so somebody knocks at the door, bust in on me. It was some guys, man. They beat me like I was a grown man.
Really?
And so it was like 4 dudes.
So they were robbing the place?
Yeah, they was robbing me. Check it out, though. I had a gun on me.
Oh.
But I was so shook, the dude went in my pocket and took the gun out. Like,
oh,
he
wow.
like, man, give me this. You don't know what you're doing.
Straight
and I
like
was
that.
shook, man. And so he took it, and so I called the dude on the payphone. I beeped him because back then it was beepers, and so I beeped him. He called me back. I told him where to pick me up. I was at the freeway,
Wow.
just waiting on him, and man, he picked me up. I got home. He told me. I told him the whole story, what happened. You know, he seen my face. He seen the tour clothes. No, he never said a word on the way back to my grandmother's house to drop me off. But man, when we got there, he looked at me and said, "You still owe me that money, though."
Oh wow.
And man, I was like, I just told you this story. What happened to me? He didn't care.
Yeah.
But I went to this OG in the hood named Willie Earl. I was telling Willie Earl what happened.
Yeah.
And Willie Earl told me, "Don't worry about that. Just go. I'll take care of that."
Yeah.
And I never heard about it again.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
what it did was it showed me I wasn't a very good drug dealer because I sold dope for one day and they robbed me.
Oh man.
But it woke something up in me that I didn't know was in me.
Okay.
I was like, I spent all day selling that to get that, but they came in 5 minutes and took it. I said, I want to do what they do.
Oh.
So I started being a robber.
Wow.
So I started robbing and doing all kind of stuff. But I still was in the music. I loved music. I was rapping, at school. I was a rapper.
Right.
And so, that's how it kind of segued in high school. Me and E-Rock and Richard, we had got together and did the Fifth Ward Boyz and got signed. But I think it was always dormant, just sitting in me that I was a robber, and I couldn't separate the streets from the studio. And that was a real bad thing though. But growing up without a father, I think was a big thing because people in Fifth Ward on my street, in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
everybody lived with their grandmother. It was like normal. It was like two daddies on the whole neighborhood we knew, and they lived right across the street from each other.
Yeah.
And I had an interview with a lady from London about a few years ago, and she asked me, did I grow up with my dad? And I said, no, I met my dad when I was 22. She said, oh, that must have been so hard for you. And I said, no, it wasn't really nothing, it really wasn't nothing. But afterwards, after the interview, I said, maybe that is why I went to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't know that's not normal.
Right.
When I was a kid, I'm thinking it's normal because everybody lives like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't normal. It wasn't a normal household. It wasn't a normal neighborhood I was living in. It wasn't it was just scratching and surviving,
Yeah. So in your experience, so you started robbing and stuff. Were there ever any moments that had you thinking about life a little different during that time, or was it afterwards you kind of reflected on it?
I didn't think about nothing then. At that time, I was I had no seatbelt on.
Right.
It was all green lights, no red lights. My grandmother died. I was out on the streets. I was just living how I would live. I would dice games every day, robbing sometimes if I needed to go by a gambling shack and rob somebody out of there, just watch people who win and rob them. It was a lot to me, and I didn't really think of it then. But when I got signed,
Yeah.
I started seeing another life, like outside of that, because I guess I'm on a lower level of criminality.
Gotcha.
I was way on the lower level.
Right.
But when I seen what, Jay and all them were doing, I was like, well, hey, they having money, but they doing something else. This dude got a car wash, his friends, they got businesses and stuff. I say, well, if they can make it out the hood, I know I can make it out the hood, but still I'm rapping And I made an album. We made an album. It went worldwide, and you know,
Yeah.
it did some stuff. But it wasn't until like my fourth album till something really happened to me. And I still remember this day. I was on the stage
Okay.
when it happened. Epiphany. I was on the stage and I was doing this song we had called PWA.
Gotcha.
And I stepped outside of myself. You know, I really could just look at me and say, man, look at you, man. Look at what you're doing, man. This lady could be somebody's mother. You got her doing it, man. This could be a daughter, man. You need to stop it, man. And I quickly got back into character, though. You know?
Right.
But I remember that day like it was yesterday. But that day, probably a year later, I was in the penitentiary.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, was that your first time in the penitentiary?
Yeah, my first time. I was going to jail a lot for little stupid stuff
Yeah.
that I was doing, gun charges and all this stuff. But for me doing albums, I was cool because I was getting money.
Yeah.
So I would pay lawyers off, hey, do this. But then when it was this time, I did a federal charge, and bam.
Oh, so that was a Fed case.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
I couldn't escape that.
So your first time going to prison was in the Feds.
Right.
So how was that experience for you being your first? How old were you again?
I was 20, probably about 26.
And at this point, where were you at with your music career?
Well, we were really doing good, but I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you, like I said, I couldn't separate the streets from the studio. I still did stuff like, you know, we had a song called Studio Gangster
Okay, yeah.
back in the day with
Yeah.
Scarface.
I remember that, yeah.
And we used to look at other people like, oh, you really not doing it. See, we really doing this. You know, we really in the streets and we're doing this.
Yeah.
Even though we're rapping, that's cool, but we doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't have a seatbelt on. I didn't have nobody to say, no, that's not a right. But let me tell you, one person did. Jay used to tell us, hey, man, hey, y'all tripping, man.
And you mean Jay Prince when you
Yeah,
say
Jay
Jay.
Prince. He used to say, hey, man, the feds be watching,
Yeah.
they doing this. Hey, man, y'all got to slow down, man,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And so, but we didn't want to listen, though, you know.
Wasn't trying to hear it at the time.
Yeah, we didn't wanna
So,
listen.
so man, you've come out. What album was it at that point when you're going into?
It was
prison.
right after Usual Suspects.
I remember that.
Right after Usual Suspects, we did an album called Recognize the Mob.
Mm.
But while we were doing that album, that's when I got locked up.
Locked up.
And so I was able to record at night only. Like, and if the day I couldn't come out in the day because I was on the run.
Got
And
you.
so I would just come at night,
And record.
and if I stayed till the morning, I just had to stay there all day. You know,
Wow.
and it was like a secret that I was there recording, and the only person would know was, you know, Fifth Ward Boyz and the engineer.
Right.
And so the night before I turned myself in, that's when I came out the booth, because I used to have to hide in the booth.
Yeah.
I used to hide in the booth when people would come to the studio.
Yeah.
I hide in the booth because we didn't want nobody. I had a bounty on my head, man. They had the rewards and everything, so we was trying to keep it on the low.
Yeah.
But the night before I was gonna turn myself in,
Yeah.
I just came out, and everybody saw me, and it's like everybody stood still, like that Beyonce challenge. They was like, they're like, hey man, how you doing? I was like, hey, what's up, y'all? Let's get the song done. Let's do it, you know, because I knew it was the last of it, and I was gonna turn myself in with my lawyer the next day.
Yeah. Wow. So you go into the feds for the first time. What was your experience like?
Well, you know, I went into the feds, and I wasn't into the Bible. I was like, man, I'm not picking up this Bible. You know, that's not me. You know, I'm not trying to be no Christian dude or nothing like that. But I will go to church. You know, I had that, like the Bible say, a form of godliness.
Mm.
I said I believe in God and all that stuff. You know, I really thought I did, but Yeah, I said that, and I would go to church in prison. I would even go to Jumar in prison, the Muslim Islamic church.
Mm.
I would just, befriend a lot of religious guys that were in different religions and stuff, and
Right.
I would befriend them.
Yeah.
And so it was cool, but I said when I got out after 60 months. I got out, and I went to the halfway house, and I said, you know what? I don't need that Bible. I don't need, to do that. I'm going to just be a good boy.
Yeah.
But what happened was just doing that, no, it didn't work. Because I ended up back, I'm talking about not even a year, I was back in prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. So, which song was the, talking about your music career, there was that song called, it's my favorite song. It has the little sample or something or someone singing. My mama used to say.
Oh, yeah. Mama used to say, take your time. Yeah.
Young man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that cost us there. Yeah,
Really?
that was a junior sample. But we paid for everything. Like, we had samples of Babyface, everybody we would use. We would pay for it. But yeah, that Mama Used to Say was one of those songs. Like, it's funny that you say that song because sometimes it never happened though, but throughout these Christendom years of mine,
Right.
people have asked me, hey man, we'll pay you this to do a Fifth Ward Boy concert, man. The boys gonna be over there. Will you come do it, And I say, yeah, I can do it, but this is the stipulations.
Right. Right.
I can do Thanks for the Blessing.
Yeah.
I can do Situations.
Situation.
I can do Mama's Praying.
Man.
And I can do Mama Used to Say.
Yeah.
I can do those songs,
Man.
and that's it.
Yeah.
I say any other songs, I won't be on the stage.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I love my brothers.
Yeah.
And I want to see them flourish. And if y'all say that's the only way we'll get the money,
Yeah.
if they'll get the money, I say, okay, let's do it.
Right.
But that's the only songs I can do.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Man, I remember I was at that time. What album was that song came on?
That was, I think it was Rated G.
Rated G.
Yeah,
That's
Rated
right.
G.
With the purple G on it.
Yeah, Rated G.
Man, I used to go over there. We had in Waco, we had Floyd's Audio Capital.
Yeah.
And so we'd go, it was a little bitty old mom and pop place. We'd get anything that came out, all the underground stuff. We
Yeah.
would get the Ruthless Juveniles. I'd
Yeah.
go over there and get the Black Monks. I'd get,
Yeah.
they had all the stuff we ain't never heard. What's his name? Gangsta Nip.
Yeah.
All this.
Yeah.
Then of course you guys, man. But man,
Yeah.
when Fifth Ward Boys came out, that was heavy for us, man. And I don't know if you remember Four Deep.
Yeah, I remember Four
Man,
Deep.
we used to jam on.
Oh, yeah,
and,
I
and,
remember 4D.
and so we'd go to this shop to get all that. I remember when the Rated G is what it was,
Mhm.
and it had that song on it.
Yeah.
And bro, I remember going around jamming to that song, and I happened to be on Waco's Most Wanted at the time.
Oh, wow.
and I was rolling around playing it over and over and over, man. I was suicidal. I mean,
Yeah.
but it would help me get me through to process my
Mhm.
processor. And man, I roll around with machine guns. I mean, with silencers. I mean, that's what I got caught up,
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
When I went to the feds. But even to this day, me and my wife, we'll just listen through, some songs and stuff, and like I'll tell, like, man, this is one of my songs that somehow, I don't know, it just got me through because it was just talking about, first of all, mama, but then it was just talking about just trying to think through these things that you go through in life,
Right.
and just trying to process it the best that you can.
Yeah, that song was one of those good balanced songs.
Yeah,
See, we had our ignorant songs,
Right.
but we did want to always put something in there
yeah,
that'll balance it to say, take your time, don't rush, you'll have it, live your life, do not, you're gonna make it songs,
yeah, man. Who's the
Like
one?
Go ahead.
Who's the one that started off by saying "Love don't love nobody"?
That's E-Rock.
Man.
Yeah, that's E-Rock. Yeah.
I love the whole song, man. But anyway, I just had to fan out for a second and just talk about that album. But
That's
all
what's up.
the Unusual Suspects, I mean, all of them, man.
Yeah.
But continue, my brother.
Yeah, so when I was in the pen, when I got out, I went back. Like I said, 8 months later, I was right back in there, man, for doing some greedy stuff, trying to get money here, trying to get money there, Now I'm in the corporate, say, world, working for UP, Union Pacific Railroad, and they're giving me a good job. I'm a manager at the spot, but they put me over these credit cards.
Oh, okay.
And so gas had went high, real high. And I think that's when the Twin Towers had hit and gas started being a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so we was in war. And so I had fleets, man, getting half on gas and stuff like that, and I got caught. So they sent me back to the feds, but I didn't go to the feds this time.
Okay.
I was on a federal hold, but they put me 30 miles from Mexico.
Oh, wow.
In this place called Falfurrias, Texas. Yeah,
Man,
it's
never
right
heard of
there by the border, right?
Yeah.
By the checkpoint.
Okay.
And so I'm the only black dude in the whole place. It's in Brooks County, and they put me in a Pison tank. Like, the Serrano Pison.
Oh, the paisanos in
here. Yeah, and Border Brothers, Mexican Mob.
Border Brothers,
it was just different dudes.
Yeah.
Different gangs. So they put me in a Pison tank that was a 48-man tank. Now, I was the 49th. So they had me on a cot, right?
Wow.
And so I seen a guy I knew, though. A little dude I did time with in Beaumont. Yeah, I seen him, little Mexican dude. We used to call him Shaq.
Okay.
The reason we used to call him Shaq because he was about this tall, And he seen me, he say, "Double O, man, what's up?" He said, "You got your hygiene and stuff, man? I got you, man." So I found somebody I knew. And so I wasn't so, like on the edge.
Right.
But the next day, I'm in a, courtroom. Well, not courtroom, courtyard of the thing. And a novella is playing, right?
A novella, wow.
And so I say, man, nobody watching, I'm going to change the channel. So I changed the channel and I started watching what I wanted to watch. And so later on, he comes to me, Shaq comes to me, say, "Hey, Double O, man, you can't change that channel." He said, "They'll allow you 1 hour of English a day." And that's from 9:30 to 10:30, right? And so I say, "What?" So I turned around, I looked at all them 48 dudes. I was like, oh, it looked like I'll be learning a little Spanish now, So, that's why, mi español es más o menos. Hábleme despacio, por favor. I had to learn a little Spanish.
You heard it here first. I don't know if you ever done that on the podcast, but you done it right here first, man, for the culture.
So what was crazy was probably like 2 days later.
Yeah.
I'm in the pen. I'm in there 2 days later. This dude, this police officer comes to me and kicks my cot.
Okay.
He said, "Get up, you're moving."
Oh.
And I was like, "Nah, man, I know somebody here already. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to move to another tank or whatever." He says, "No, get your stuff up." I said, "No, man." I tell him, "No, I ain't going." So I go back to sleep. And so then about probably an hour later, I feel another kick. Then I open my eyes. It's about 6 officers putting gloves on.
Okay.
They're like, "Oh, you're not going to get your stuff?"
Oh, wow.
And so I started getting myself like, "Oh, okay. So y'all going to jump me, huh? Okay." So But I started packing, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know that was the blessing of my life because they put me in it was a 23-in-1, what we call tank, where you only out for 1 hour.
Gotcha.
And that hour is really not out. It's just a room that has the sky. You can see the sky.
Right.
It has rope on it or whatever. You can see the sky.
Right.
That's the hour you get.
Gotcha.
But I was 23-hour lockdown in the 8-man tank. But when I got to that tank, man, all the dudes was in there. They heard what was happening over there in the tank because a black guy done showed up. It's like word everywhere, right?
Sure.
Come to find out, the Pisons went to the guards and said, "Hey, get him out of here. We gonna kill him if you don't get him out of here."
Oh, wow.
So those guards were saving my life, really.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like I always say, like my homeboy said, man, I wasn't arrested, I was rescued, really.
Come on.
And so when I went to that tank, man, I started learning Spanish a little bit, the A, B, C, Ch. I started learning the alphabets and learning how to write it.
What?
You know what I'm saying? So it was some older dudes from McAllen,
McAllen,
and they
yeah.
was like, "Hey man, we don't even watch that TV, man. We just want to watch Noticiero, man. We just want to watch the news, whatever." So, but I started getting into the novellas, you know, like Adidas Amor, Dos Caras de Ana.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I started getting into it, you
What?
know. And so that's why even now,
Yeah.
I watch like Narcos, I be watching and my wife be like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
man,
how
come
you
on.
just," I say, "Oh, I understand everything that's going on." I know you don't, but you know.
That's dope.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then, man, that's where it happened for me. I was in that cell. What happened was my wife, she sent me a book.
Okay.
It was called The Power of a Praying Husband,
Okay, yeah.
right?
I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Stormy O. Marshall.
Yeah.
She sent me that book, and I started I didn't read it. Let me lie. I didn't read that book.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept telling her, I'm going to get to it. But she sent me a paper,
Okay.
like, you know, just a long paper. So I said, I'm going to read it, right? So I read it. I said, oh, this is powerful. Man, this is powerful. And so she tricked me. So when I talked to her the next time, she said, did you read that paper I sent you? I said, yeah, man, that was powerful. She said, that's in that book. All I did was copy it out of that book,
Yeah.
a page out of that book.
Yeah.
And you ain't read it. And see,
Wow.
if you read it, and I started reading it, you know, getting in the Bible a little bit. There was a guy in there that was taking me through, you know, some stories of the Bible. His name was Stephen Savetko, you know, because it was almost like a thing
Devotional?
with INS, you
Okay.
know.
Oh,
so
okay.
it was like a place where, you know, they catching people and sending them back.
Gotcha.
Because people coming through Mexico,
Right.
they might be from Russia, they may be from
Mm.
anywhere, but that's where they coming through.
Right, right.
And so Stephen Savetko was teaching me, you know, little stories about the Bible and the stuff that he was talking about. I was like, man, it's not in the Bible. Because he would tell me in a way that was like our way.
Yeah.
Like he would tell me the story about Saul, David running from Saul, you know.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, so he said like, boom, David Saul went into a cave, you know, to use the restroom, right? And so while he using the restroom, you know, David was in the same cave. So David creeped up on him and cut his robe, you know, and he let him walk out and he let him see it. Hey man, see, I could have killed you, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing this like, that's not in the Bible. He like, yeah, man. So he showed me.
Yeah.
Little stories like that. It was a lot of little stories. He
Letting
was
them
showing
know
me-
he caught him slipping.
Yeah, he was showing me in Proverbs where this lady, you know, she invites this young man into her house. Her husband, he's taking a lot of money and
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
be gone for a long time. I put frankincense and myrrh on my bed.
Yeah.
And she's getting this young man, you know, like, God, dog, that stuff is in the Bible? Okay, I want to read it, right?
Mm.
So we just start going through it. But really, I'm getting the knowledge of it, but I'm not surrendering my life to Jesus Christ,
Okay.
right? So I had a dream, man. And in that dream, I was wondering what I was going to do when I get out, how I was going to live when I got out. And what happened was this. In that dream, God told me, you're going to live for me. You're going to live for me, or something bad is going to happen to you for a long time. I didn't know what he meant by that. I just didn't want no parts of it. So I say, I'm going to give my life to Jesus Christ. Now, think about it. I came to God out of fear, right? That I didn't want to be in prison for a long time. I didn't want to die. So I came to God out of fear.
Mm.
It wasn't until I came home till I rededicated myself to Christ out of love with my hunger for more, how much he loved me.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
And so in there, I just said, I'm going to give my life to Christ. That's it, man. And so when I came home, man, hey, I wanted to honor my covenant. Now, not to say that I'm perfect, because I think from the last pew to the choir stand, all of us messed up. We do something every day that God's not pleased with,
Right.
you know, but that's really the gist of it, how I came to Jesus Christ.
Man, thanks for sharing that, man. That's powerful. You know, that God intervened in the situation, in the place where you were at, and you embraced His grace. You know, so man, you got out, man. How was everything in that transition for you?
It was funny. It was real funny. You know what? When I came home, I wasn't talking like my homeboys was talking no more.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to talk to me. My phone, like I used to say, my phone was dry. It wouldn't ring. So
Yeah.
I got into church, but the church people didn't trust me yet. So I had to learn how to be alone for a long time, right?
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well-
The church didn't.
Well, it's like I'm kind of known. The case was known. I'm known in Houston.
Yeah.
And so when I did join this church,
Uh,
everybody like, oh, that's 007. Oh, man, you know what? That dude used to rob, man. That dude was a fool because he was on that cocaine, man. He was a fool. They knew because I was, man.
right.
You know, I had a reprobate mind. I was way different than I am now.
Right.
Just totally different. I didn't do a 360 to turn back around. I did a 180. And I'm not like I was, right? And so even church people knew that. And they were like, man, we don't know yet, you know. And we talking about church people,
Yeah.
you know. Until
To them, you were kind of still suspect. They didn't know if you were like really.
Right. And so my homeboys, I had one homeboy. He was like, yeah man, I got you. Yeah, I had one homeboy. He was like, man, you don't drink no more? I'm like, nah, man, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. He like, it ain't court mandated? I'm like, no, man, I'm not doing that no more, man. I don't, you know, so they stopped kind of messing with me, my old homeboys, you know what I'm saying, at that time.
What that feel like?
It was rough because I was like, man, you know, after me putting all this work in, I felt like it was work in the streets. You know, it was no loyalty, you know, like to what I'm trying to do. You know, you see me, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to live my life right. You should honor that and say, man, you know, like on Tupac's song, I Ain't Mad at You.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for that, you know. I ain't mad at you, man. You trying to get your life together,
Right.
don't do it, you know.
Right.
But I didn't have that. It was a time when my uncle, he bought me a Lecrae 116 CD,
Way back.
and he bought me a SOM CD.
Okay.
And he said, hey, man, these some Christian rappers, man. If you want to rap like Christian rap, I was like, man, I'll never do that Christian rap, man. That stuff's whack, man.
Yeah.
You know? And so he said, listen to these dudes. Man, I heard that stuff. I was like, oh, they hard. This is hard right here. This is the message of Jesus Christ over some hard beats.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I know that guy from SOM. I work with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. He said, man, I'm going to hook y'all up. So me and the dude, we had been talking on the phone just like for weeks, right?
Yeah.
And so the dude said, man, I want to introduce you to Trey 9. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I called Trey 9, and Trey 9 was like, hey, meet me at this church, man. And I want to talk to you, you know. And so I met Trey 9. And so then I didn't know it was a lot of guys that were repping Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a community of them.
Right.
And so now I'm in with these dudes now.
Yeah.
So the church, if they don't like me, it's okay. The streets, if they don't like me, it's okay. I got a family now. And so it was cool, man. I had got in with them, and it was all right.
Man, you mentioned Tupac. Did you ever get a chance to meet him? How so?
Of course. Tupac, I met we went on tour with Tupac, Biggie too.
Yeah.
And so Tupac, I'll tell you an interesting story about Tupac. I went on the road, and it was Ghetto Boys, Tupac, and Fifth Ward Boys. They probably had somebody else too. But man, we knew Tupac from Juice. You know, we knew him from that, you know. And so we knew of him on the movie, but as a rapper, we just didn't put too much stock in it. We from the South, you know.
Yeah.
But man, the day we met him, Scarface, he already knew him.
Yeah.
But he introduced us. He said, man, this is a Fifth Ward boy.
Yeah.
Pac started rapping our lyrics.
What?
Yeah, and it was like, oh, okay. But it wasn't that he was Pac. I don't care who you was. If it's somebody in Minnesota or somewhere out here that's rapping something that I was probably on the toilet doing,
Yeah.
hey, man, I'm amazed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that night we did the show.
Yeah.
And, man, when that dude got up there, he had those people like in a trance. He had the whole crowd. They knew him.
Yeah.
We didn't know him like that.
Right,
But
right.
they were, you know. And so we came back to Houston, man. I told Dewey, one of my managers,
Yeah.
I said, hey, this dude right here, Tupacalypse, I said, this dude finna be big, man.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, man, not that dude, man. Oh, his beats whack, man. I said, man, you didn't see what I saw, man.
Yeah.
Watch how this dude, he finna be big, man.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, whatever. And that's how he did. He got big. We ended up going on a few tours before he went to jail
Yeah.
the first time, but we never seen him when he was with Death Row. He was
Right.
only out 9 months.
Mm.
You know, we never got to see him. We were going to do like a tour,
Yeah.
but he ended up dying. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then what about Biggie? You got a chance to meet
Yeah,
him?
Biggie, man, we did shows with Biggie. And so it was crazy. The first meetup, man, he thought we was E40, you know, because E-Rock kind of looked like E40.
Yeah.
And he kind of got scared. But I had went up to him. I said, hey, no, man, we the Fifth Ward Boys. Woo, 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 woo. He was like, yeah, I know y'all. You rap a lot. And I was like, yeah, rap a lot, man. He's like, yeah, he was real cool, man. We
Yeah.
did a show. We did a few shows, Nashville, Kentucky, a lot of little places with
Yeah.
Biggie, too.
Yeah.
It was
That's
Junior
all right.
Mafia, really. It was Junior
Oh,
Mafia.
Lil
but
C's and
Biggie-
all that.
Yeah, but Biggie was with him, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a solo Biggie
Right.
thing, but it was a
Had
Junior
the whole
Mafia.
crew
yeah,
and all them,
yeah,
yeah. Man. So what, he had problems with E40? Is that why? He thought,
See, E40 was Tupac homeboy.
oh, I see what
And
you're saying.
so it was like Biggie was moving around, Pac wasn't moving around.
Mm,
See, like Biggie and them, they was promoting, they was going places.
yeah.
Pac wasn't doing that. He was LA, you know, Las Vegas, just them two.
Yeah.
He not going nowhere else.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Man, so you being from, you know, in the music industry, you were with a lot of the H-Town legends. You're an
Mhm.
H-Town legend yourself. What was it like being around, you know, Willie D and, you know, the Ghetto Boys, you
They
know?
funny, man. They some comedians.
Yeah, yeah.
All those dudes comedians, man. And you know, Face, Devin. It's funny about that, It's funny about that because Rap A Lot, we had one studio.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, it was all of us, Big Mello.
Yeah, Big Miller.
It was 3-2, Big Mike, Scarface, Willie D, Bushwick. Some of us were in groups, Devin the Dude, Odd
Yeah.
Squad. We were all Gangsta Nip. Think about this. We
Wow.
only had one studio. So
Man.
all of us are there, you know, doing stuff.
That's crazy. to
Until
think about.
Face got his own studio in his house
Yeah.
because he got, you know, rich and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was cool like that because we had like a bond, you know, Rap A Lot kind of. We used to call it the Rap A Lot Mafia.
Yeah.
We had this bond. We had a song called "Bring It On," you know, with Too Low and everybody, DMG, everybody was on it.
Yeah.
In Too Much Trouble, you know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and we had a song called "Bring It On." Man, that song got so big, so we did a tour, a
Really?
Bring It On tour.
Wow.
Yeah, we did like 18 cities with that Bring It On tour. So yeah, it was cool, man. It's to be around the legends, man. Even the Southside legends like Fat Pat and Pokey and
Yeah.
Big Hawk, you know,
Yeah, man.
all them dudes, man. We all got cool. Screw, all of us. See, a lot of stuff was early on with the birthday tapes.
Mhm.
You know about the Screw tapes, the gray tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Vaughn
it
was
was
telling
just
me
June
about it.
27th yesterday, so
Oh,
they
wow.
celebrated the June 27th. It's the
Really?
big Screw Day, right?
Okay, okay. I
And
didn't know
so with the gray tapes, it was a lot of animosity going around because they were birthday tapes.
Oh,
So
okay.
what you could do was pull up the Screw house, and you could pick all the songs you want. He's gonna put them on the tape, and he'll screw it, and you can talk over
What?
your own tape, right?
Oh, wow.
And so these dudes, you say, yeah, them North Side dudes, we gonna kill them and stuff like that, And you hear that kind of stuff, and so that was like a thing. But we was cool with each other. Screw was cool with us. C-No, Botany Boys, everybody
Boys, yeah.
from the South Side, we was always cool with them.
Yeah.
Especially when 8-Ball MJG moved down here, it kind of like merged us because they were new to the city, and we meeting up at their house and they meeting up at their house. We started doing laser tag and everything, man, with C-Note, man.
Man, what was that like? I didn't realize that 8-Ball and MJG moved down to Houston.
They were here.
Wait, that's not what's on their cover, is it?
No.
When the Mr. Big came out?
No, the reason why they kind of moved down to Houston because the guy that produced them, that really put the financial backing to
What's
him.
his name? With the D, start with a D?
Yeah, you saying Tony Draper. But
Yes.
Tony Draper, he lived here,
Okay.
but really this guy named James Barrow,
Okay.
JB,
Okay.
was the money behind everything, but he had got locked up.
Gotcha.
But he's out now.
Okay.
But he's from Fifth Ward. Some stuff went down at a park in Fifth Ward,
Yeah.
and he got locked up.
Understood.
But that's why they came. When you hear 8-Ball say, me and JB in a drop top Mercedes, all that, and he talking about JB.
Oh, wow.
And that car was real, even though it looked like candy.
Yeah.
It was a real drop top that was JB car.
On the front of that?
Yeah,
the
on
cover?
their first album, Coming Out Hard. And so
Bro, hold on.
they moved, huh?
So you knew them at that time?
Yeah.
Were they here at that time?
Yeah, they came here. Yeah.
While that album came out?
Yeah.
Bro,
they came here.
man, okay, what was it like, bro? What was it like being around
Cool,
8-Ball
man.
and MJG?
It was cool. You want to hear a messed up story
I
about
do.
8-Ball and
Talk
MJG?
to yeah, man. Yeah, tell me, bro.
Hey, you know what's funny, right? We had a show down here. And so, we all was friends, all of us. And so some dudes got in a fight from Fifth Ward in our concert.
Okay.
And so I'm getting out the way. We getting out of there, we leaving. But them Fifth Ward dudes is still in there.
Right.
So they doing what they doing, you know what I'm saying? And so we went back over to 8-Ball in them house probably about a month later.
Yeah.
And so we see this purple Corvette come in. Just come in and it's MJG. So he passed us straight up without saying nothing to us. So I was like, man, what's wrong with this dude, man?
Yeah.
So 8-Ball said, I don't know what's up. So we go in there, and he watching cartoons, eating some cereal.
What?
And so he like, man, you all right? He like, yeah, I'm cool. But when we went outside, Ball ended up saying, hey, man, that night when that happened, man, they beat up MJ, man.
No.
They jumped on him, man.
No,
you know
for
what
real?
I'm saying? Yeah. And so I was like, man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know them dudes. We know them, but we can't control them like that, you know. And he say he accidentally got in it, And so, man, I had to go to the dude and apologize for whatever happened. It happened a lot with a lot of people.
Really?
And we had to go back to those people and apologize.
Wow.
Eazy-E, the same thing, man.
Really? What do you mean? Like, what happened?
Him. Man, we
Wait, so you met at Eazy-E?
Yeah, we was cool with Eazy-E, man. We was in Hawaii, but Eazy-E then was doing a show here in Houston.
Okay.
And so the guys took the mic from him and roughed him up on stage. Some Fifth Ward dudes.
Oh, bro.
But they had Fifth Ward boy shirts on.
Oh, wow.
We was in Hawaii. We had been in Hawaii about a week, man.
Yeah. We
came back to this spot we be going to in Fifth Ward. It's a house where we grew up. If you ever heard of Red Boy, Anzel, he's a manager for Mayweather right now.
Okay.
But we grew up there playing games in this house. So we always go to his mother's house. Man, we go there, the police show up there, and they say, y'all did it. Y'all, the Fifth Ward Boys. We're like, man, we've been in Hawaii, man. You know? And so we got to prove that we was out of town.
Wow.
They wear them shirts, and, you know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man. So you had to apologize to Eazy-E about the whole thing?
At Hammer House.
At MC Hammer's house?
Right. Hammer, he wasn't even there, though. It was a party going on.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there. At his house, the party was at his house. Eazy-E came, and I had talked to him, apologized to him, everything.
Wow, what did he say? What did he say?
Oh, he was like, man, that's cool, man. I knew that wasn't y'all, man. I knew that wasn't y'all. I know y'all. You know.
Bro, so what's going on with the bloody nickel, man? The Fifth Ward folks, man. They
crazy, man.
They roughing up all the legends, man.
They was tripping, man. They was tripping. And you know, I would never do that. I was like, hey,
no, yeah, of course.
If I was there, I'd be like, hey, y'all, calm down, man.
Yeah. Wow, man. So I was asking, my mind went Gifted, yeah. About the Louisiana music industry and then over here in Texas and all that. So I was asking them, I want to ask you the same question. So, you being in Texas, and someone like Eightball MJG, like, oh my goodness, that was huge for us, man, down here in Texas. But whenever that dun 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 dun,
oh yeah, Mr. Big,
it was bananas.
Lay it down.
Lay down. Oh, bro. So like, was that you got, and especially you, like you're in the middle of all this, around all the. To us, a superstar. Like, this is huge icons, right?
Yeah.
Like, how was it for you? Like, was it a big deal like that?
Like, I was a student of hip hop.
Okay.
I love hip hop from New York. We only had New York rap, so I love hip hop. And when somebody's dope, they just dope.
Yeah.
But we all kind of shared stages because all of us was together.
Yeah.
So Mystical, Master P, everybody from No Limit, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, all of us, the Hot Boys, we kind of all shared different places we would go, like 3 6 Mafia too. We would do a lot with them in Florida, shows in Miami, shows in different places. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It was pretty cool, man.
Man, you said some heavy hitter names.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes, we used to be like, we were so we're the stars. So, what we would do? We would say, we're going to stay in the hotel till they're through with their last song. Call us when they on their last song.
Oh, yeah?
This when we're head there.
Oh, yeah?
But people we knew and we was cool with, we would show up.
Yeah.
Like Mystical was our homeboy.
Yeah.
He would come down here, because Tim Smooth used to be on Rap a lot.
Okay.
And so Tim Smooth and Mystical, they was real cool.
Okay.
And so that's how we befriended Mystical.
And then what about Master P, especially back in those days?
Master P was here. He was here mostly. He did a lot here, man. So we was real cool with P too.
Yeah. What was it like being around him?
Man, he's an entrepreneur for real, man.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that, likes to get it out the mud, man, for real,
Yeah.
Like, I watched the documentary on Tyler Perry and how he was like, I was like putting my money up on this kind of stuff. And it was like parallel to me with Master P. That's how Master P was. But I think it was a detriment to us, Fifth Ward Boys, that we wouldn't do that.
Mm.
The money we was getting, we was buying Cadillacs, jewelry, doing all kind of stupid stuff, drugs and all this. But seemed like what we should have did was put money into our craft more. We was more worried about Rap-A-Lot budget. Oh yeah, they gonna pay for it. Oh, they'll do this. Like you used to have a budget, right? So say a budget for an album is $500,000.
Okay.
Right, that's the budget. And they got a ceiling budget, which is $700,000.
Yeah.
Then they got a roof budget. The roof budget is $900,000. And once you hit the roof budget, they're not doing nothing else for you. They're not shooting another video.
Yeah.
They're not trying to service another song or whatever.
Yeah.
It's up to the artist now to use your money to do it.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that.
Wow. Man, that's some stuff to learn on. That's good stuff, man. Thank you for sharing all that.
All good.
Man, so the legend, man, of H Town, Jay Prince, man. Can you talk to us about your experience, early on in your years, meeting them and all that stuff?
Yeah, so we from the same neighborhood, but we are from two different neighborhoods in Fifth Ward.
Okay.
So he's from Liberty Road, I'm from Lounge Street, but
Okay.
it's a track that kind of separates them neighborhoods.
Okay.
And so we always knew about Jay, because of the Ghetto Boys.
Right.
So all of us, that was like a big thing when we was like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
When we heard Ghetto Boys,
Ghetto Boys.
Bun, bun.
Yeah.
It was like somebody's from our neighborhood is on the radio. Hey man, we can do this, And so pretty much that's kind of how Fifth Ward Boys kind of started, because we had the moxie to say, maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
And we got started. How we really started was at a Mint Condition concert.
Mint Condition. I remember
Mint
that.
Condition was in concert, and they let
That's R&B.
this dude, Richie Rich.
Okay.
He my homeboy now. He opened for him.
Yeah.
And we was like, hey man, if he could do it, I know we can do it. We was on the way home.
Yeah.
And so we had this guy that was riding with us named Ike. And he was like, man, it's 1,000, 1,000,000 to 1 chances that y'all gonna make a record, man. He said, man, y'all can't do that. And that little thing motivated me and E-Rock
Yeah.
to start doing something, man.
Wow.
And so that's when we started writing and started going to we had a Galleria now, the Galleria Mall.
Yeah. I
They
remember
used to
that.
have a booth. If you pay like $20, you bring an instrumental in
Yeah.
and you can rap over it.
Mm.
And so that's kind of how we got a little demo going, And so meeting Jay, that's how we met Jay. I was fond of this girl that at this beauty shop, and I went to let her hear it,
Yeah.
and she say, I really don't know nothing about rap. I know about R&B and stuff.
Yeah.
She said, but Lil Jay, he next door at the record shop, and I was like, oh, you don't think I'll go over there and show him?
Yeah.
But I'm like 17 at that time, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm young. But man, I walk in there, it's about 30 dudes in there, man, grown-ups,
Yeah.
And so I say, hey, man, I got this, but Jay wasn't in there. But I said, man, I got this tape I want y'all to
And
hear,
you a
man.
teenager at this time.
Yeah, I'm 17. Say, got this tape I want y'all to hear, man. It's me rapping. So they play it. I play it, right? So everybody doing this, bobbing their head all the while. So I'm like, yeah, they feeling it, right?
Yeah.
As soon as it went off, they said, oh, we don't like that, man.
Wow.
They say, we don't like that. But who did the beat? Now, this is where I lied at.
Okay.
I got the beat from DJ Quick album. He always did a
The
thing
instrumentals.
called For You to Rip To.
Yeah, I remember that.
On every album, he would put a beat for somebody else to do something off of. And that's where I got that beat. But I said, oh, my homeboy did that beat, man. They say, man, bring your homeboy up here tomorrow.
What?
And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So I came back the next day, by myself, and I just started rapping, a cappella, just going. So I think I rapped about 4 raps, in a row.
Yeah.
Then they was like, oh, yeah, we like that. Yeah, we like that, though. Yeah,
Okay.
that's dope. And so they was like, you got some more? I was like, yeah, man, I got a whole bunch of rhymes. And I got a homeboy that's cold, too. It was like, y'all, yeah, bring him up here tomorrow, man. And so I said, it was the next day. I told E-Rock, I said, hey, man, we need to go up there. We might try to get a deal, man. He was like, man, them dudes ain't going to do nothing, right?
Yeah.
So we go up there, and we rapping. They like, yeah, them dudes good, man. And so Jay, the dude say, man, you supposed to be Jay's best friend. You supposed to be Jay's best friend. Why don't you call him on the phone, man? He was like, yeah, I'll call him. So he called him, put him on speakerphone, right?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, what's going on? He said, man, it's these little dudes, man, I want you to hear. I want you to hear these little dudes. And he said, yeah, rap for Jay on the phone. I said, hey, we don't rap on no phone, homeboy. You got to come up here. We don't know that this dude is, we know he's a millionaire, but
Yeah.
we so young. We don't care. we going,
Yeah.
And so he, when he hung up the phone,
Yeah.
they say, man, you messed up your chances, man. You should have rapped on the phone. Man, that man could be in Germany somewhere, man. Y'all could have did that.
Yeah.
So everybody in there was saying, yeah, man, y'all kind of messed up. And we start feeling it, man. Man, probably about in 30 minutes,
Yeah.
man, that man pulled up. And when he pulled up,
What was he driving?
he was driving this Lexus. It was like a gold Lexus.
Okay.
The little bitty
Yeah.
2-door little thing, right?
Got you.
He came in, he had 2 twin Glocks.
Oh, man.
And he took the Glocks out, he put them on the thing. He said, man, who was that talking that mess on that thing, man? And I said, oh, that was me. Turn them lights off. So turn our lights off. We had a song called Fifth Ward Harmony,
Yeah.
where we would say all the names of the streets
Yeah.
in Fifth Ward and in the hoods, and we did it. And man, as soon as we finished doing that song, he scratched his head like this, and he said, y'all want to open for the Ghetto Boys Friday? We was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of got started.
Wow, man. Okay, so you would Scarface, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all these guys are there, these legends. What would your favorite Scarface? What's a song did for you that just blew your mind when you heard him rapping, or maybe you even did it? You heard him personally. I don't know, like in the studio.
Well, this is a true story, and you probably heard this on another interview. But one day we was in the studio. This is before Fifth Ward Boy album ever came out, but we're in the studio, and we had a guy named Seagram.
Okay.
Seagram used to
I
rap with
remember
us
hearing
too.
about it, yeah.
So they had locked the studio, and we couldn't get in there. And so Seagram went in one of these little things right here
Yeah.
and crawled over into the studio.
The AC unit?
Yeah, and he made a beat for us.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and I'm gonna tell you what that beat was. If you ever heard of the song Straight Gangsterism,
Yeah.
that was the beat it was supposed to be for us, right?
Okay.
But we couldn't get in the studio like to record it,
Yeah.
you know. And so Face came in, we was gonna record it. Face came in. Face said, hey man, I got a song, I gotta do this song.
Yeah.
And so, he's the breadwinner of the label.
Yeah.
And so when engineers see him come in and say something like that, our session is shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, this dude, because he had a studio in his house.
Yeah.
So I feel like, man, why don't he go to his house, man? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, man, he did this song. He said, here it comes, fool, down hard to the end, Mr. Scarface, not your ordinary dope, man, on the riddle. Man, he was going so hard. I was looking at him like, God, dog. And when he finished, I looked at my boy and said, hey, man, we got to get hard, man. Say, man, we got to get hard.
Yeah, man.
This dude hard. Because we in the room, it's just a mic in the room.
Yeah.
And so you just sitting there and he doing it right there. He's not in a booth. And so the boy going so hard, I just looked at him afterwards, and my homeboy said, hey, man, we got to get hard, man.
Wow.
This dude hard.
Man. Well, man, that's a lot of history, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing all that, man. I did want to ask you one last question. There's so, coming from where we come from, we have normally, because of where we come from, we have this mindset about law enforcement, right? The police and stuff like that. Since you have been at a place where you're sober minded and, away from the life of crime, where your job is to really look out for them as their job is to look out for you, how has that changed? I know you transitioned and changed from doing all that, but how has it changed towards the police?
Well, it's kind of cut and dry, right?
Uh-huh.
So I had a criminal mind,
Uh-huh.
which I know things I've done was wrong.
Okay.
I wasn't born like I'm a gangster, as a baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm growing into this stuff as a man,
Yeah.
growing into criminality, right?
Yeah.
And so I know these things are wrong. Law of the land comes from biblical principles also.
Okay.
right? And so some policemen are, crooked.
Yeah.
But there are police out there that will try to police for real,
Yeah.
to try to serve the community for real.
Yeah.
And so some mess it up. If you put those a bad apple next to a good apple, sometimes it corrupts that next apple.
Yeah.
But then that other apple, it just stays on that side. So
Right.
it's still some good dudes in there, dog.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends in law enforcement. So,
Yeah.
it's needed.
Yeah.
Man, you got some dudes over there eating banana peel out the trash can when I was in prison. I say, oh yeah, this some of us need to be in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these dudes I needed to be in prison.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Like I tell you, I wasn't arrested, I was rescued.
Okay.
Hey man, I had an appetite for destruction. So I couldn't control my life on my own. So they put me somewhere where somebody else can control it.
Right.
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 And so that's when God had to do his work on me,
Yeah.
And so right now, what I say, shoot, I don't care if you Biden or you Trump.
Yeah.
Hey man, you did the crime. You supposed to go to jail, dog. They send me to jail. Send you to jail too. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care who you is.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it, hey, I'm gonna call the police if I got a problem at my house, somebody break in. My homeboy Bun, I was just talking to him the other day, and dudes was like, oh man, he should have never did. Look,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
we are respectable people in society now.
Yeah, man.
We, if you want to feed into a foolishness still,
Yeah.
we have turned the page.
Yeah.
So law enforcement is needed, man.
Yeah.
It's needed because if this will be a lawless town,
Yeah.
if you make it a lawless town,
Yeah.
hey man, it'll be murders all day. Just say, what's the movie where they get to do anything?
Like the Purging.
Yeah, the Purge. You know what I'm saying?
The Purge.
You don't want to see that, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I support the law enforcement, but it's still like we need each other, everybody together to band together to support the good ones.
Right.
To rub off, to get rid of the bad ones, because we got one on trial. His trial started today.
Is that right?
Yeah, his name Batman.
Okay.
His name Donna Goins. He did a fake paper to say these people were selling dope out of the house, and they did a no-knock warrant.
Oh.
They killed the people and stuff like
Really?
that. And so come to find out, it was a fake warrant and all that stuff. And so he's going to court now. We need to get rid of him, but we knew that even as kids, that guy was no good.
Gotcha.
But he had got up in the ranks till we didn't see him anymore.
Yeah.
So he had got so big. So that's the problem we have when we don't vote. So we talk about judges that are wrongly, doing sentencing and stuff, but we don't even vote. We don't even vote them out. We thinking just vote, it's the presidency. No, it's judges, it's councilmen, it's all kind of stuff. So if you really feel towards something, I don't really get into political stuff because Jesus Christ is my, that's the political thing I'm on. I'm on him.
Right.
I don't get with the Democrats. I don't get the Republicans. I just serve Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ tells me to love others as I love myself. And I love myself. So I'm going to love others the same way.
That's right. That's right. Man, thank you for giving us the opportunity to interview you, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
You brought up Bun B, and I know we're on the way out with this, but man, what was your experience with Pimp C, man? And that's UGK right there, man.
Pimp was something, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
You got a story for?
I got a million stories.
What's
Pimp,
one you
man.
could share?
So, I'll share this one. One time, Pimp went with Master P to Atlanta. He moved to Atlanta. He called us and said, hey, man, I bought a house. I'm out of here in Atlanta. He getting money with Master P.
Okay.
So he doing beats for P and stuff like that. So he comes back to Houston in a big old 500 Benz, right? And so we meet up because we got a show at like the Astro Arena with Juvenile, Hot Boys and stuff. And he at the hotel and he meets us.
Yeah.
And we looking at the car, we like, oh man, this beautiful. I say, man, let me whip it one time, man, let me whip it. He said, all right, go ahead. Man, I go and I jump on the highway.
Really?
Hey, man, when I came back, Pimp said, hey, man, I thought you stole my car, man. He said, man, them Fifth Ward Boys, I can't trust y'all, man. I don't know what y'all gonna do, man.
Wow. Man, that's
Yeah,
man.
Pimp was a fool, man. That boy one time, that boy told he said, we had met him out of town. He said, man, I'm going to kill Sean Paul. And we was like, why?
Yeah.
He was like, he stole my style. This dude was crazy. And at that time, that boy had a mink coat
Mink
on
coat.
with no shirt on, and it's like 100 degrees outside. And so he say, yeah, man, you need to take that thing off, man. He say, oh, pictures don't tell temperatures. He say, people take pictures of me, man, you know what I'm saying? He said, the pictures don't tell the temperature, you know? That's Pimp, man. He was a fool, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you, brother.
Bless
Man,
you,
thank
man.
you for all that you do in the city, in the community, man.
Bless you.
Everywhere, man. Would you let everybody know? I know you got a podcast. Can you shout it out?
So it's the Progression Podcast, man. We teach liberation, education, and elevation. Like I tell everybody, I was liberated from the street life.
Yeah.
I was educated in the prison system, and I was elevated once I gave my life to Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah.
And so, I always like to say the guys that's coming out of prison, it is a way, it is a thing out here, but the only way I did it, I can't say how everybody else do it, because I
Yeah.
got a homeboy that's a Muslim,
Yeah.
and we cool all the way,
Yeah.
like I don't trip on him because of that, but he was a straight killer in the streets.
Yeah.
I know him
Yeah.
as a killer.
Yeah.
I know this dude as a killer.
Yeah.
But man, I seen him with a bow tie on the thing,
Yeah.
final calls and stuff, and I was like, hey man, whatever change your life, do it, But I just tell you, from my perspective, the
Yeah.
only way I got out of prison,
Yeah.
the only way I'm living right now,
Yeah.
the only way things are going good for me is because I gave my life to Jesus Christ.
Amen. Yeah, man. Yeah, y'all go check out the podcast and
The Progression
yeah.
Podcast, man. I'm on Apple, Sirius, whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
Spotify.
That's right.
It's on everything.
That's right. It's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, YouTube, man.
Yeah.
The Progression Podcast, how you really spell it. It is not spelled in a crazy way.
Right.
The Progression, like progress, podcast.
Got you. And then, man, look into this camera right here, man, and
Okay.
anything you want to share, like just to the folks out there that are tapping in.
Let me say this. The Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but have the everlasting life. Look, man, what we have to do is give ourselves to God, because that's where we came from, right? So follow your first love. Go back to your first love, man, and I swear, I'm not telling you it's going to be all peaches and cream, but, hey, man, it's a good life, man. You're going to love it. Salute.